So let's revisit where we were. Our app does print the table, like so. If we have a starting value that is greater than the ending value, it gives us an error. That is okay. And now what we want to do is we want to go a step further and add something like this. Say, for example, this should not be possible. Say minus 275 is just not the right temperature. Okay, because that's absolute zero. Actually, I had tried this before, so and now when I say minus 275 and say minus 270, those are acceptable values, and it will give us the table. But you know, we should not have values that are minus 275 and things like that. So how do we do that? We add an event listener. So at the time of so this is a different way of doing the validation, and both of them will be expected from you. And here I'm going to add it. So I have the HTML file. I'm going to say onload add validate. Okay, so that looks good. So whenever the page is loaded, we are going to have add validate function executed at that time. I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to go back to my program. I have not yet got that program. Actually, I just got my cheat sheet up there. Okay. This is my program, and I'm going to now add the validation function. So my validation function is going to be, let me just set my tab stop to be equal to 2 and shift width to be equal to 2 and expand tab. That way when I'm creating stuff, it gets created properly. Function, and that was just to so that my indentation was good. So function, then add validation, and I'm going to have open and close braces, and then I'm going to start my work. Right. So I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to first of all actually get the. I could actually, being lazy person that I am, I'm just going to copy these things from here. And actually, we don't want the values, we want the complete elements. So I'm going to now just get the complete elements. Not sure if that actually saved me time, but at least I'm not going to make any mistakes, because I know that all of those were typed properly. So so I have those two elements, and for each one I want to add an event listener. So for S dot so for S, I'm going to add the event listener. Event listener. Sounds good. Yeah. Okay. And then upon blur, that means whenever whenever you type something and move away from that particular element, then we are going to have the blur happening there. And I have to have a function. I cannot have a function call, as we know. We just have to have a function pointer, or a pointer to this particular function. So that's why I'm going to just use an anonymous function. It's something that we use quite often in JavaScript, so we should get used to that. So this is an anonymous function, and all this function is going to do is make a call to another function called validate, that's going to receive validate that element as a parameter. Okay, I think I have a yeah, and then I should also have a semicolon. Okay, And I'll go through this again in a minute. Let me just fix these two. So what we are doing is now we have created, we have basically extracted the start right here. And let me just look at put the line numbers on as well, so you can see on line number 3 we retrieved the element called start. On line number 4 right here we retrieved the element called end, and we stored it in E. And then for S we are adding an event listener, that's line 6, and the event is blur. That means when you lose the focus. And what we do is we add this particular function. It doesn't have a name, we just say function, you know, whatever name, we don't care, it doesn't have to have a name. And the function we are adding has only one line, which is calling another function called validate, which receives one parameter called S, which is essentially the element with the ID start. And we repeat the same thing for E. And now, of course, we just said call the function validate, but there's no such function. So we have to write one of those. And this is how I'm going to write that. And that's going to be function, then the name of the function, which is validate. And it's something that people, I notice in CSCI2356 that people seem to think that the names have to match. And here is a classical example. I'm saying validate X, and this X does not have to match the one in call, because it's just a generic name, and it couldn't really match, because if it matched for line 6, then it will not match for line 7, right? So we just so X is going to be S one time, is going to be E another time. So now let's and try and see if we can make this work. Now we are a little wiser from, or at least I'm a little wiser from last time when I made that mistake of using a string value, because if you're going to compare it with -273, which is absolute value, -273 is okay, but -274 is not okay, right? So we should convert that to a real number, pass float, like so. And then what are we going to have here? We're just going to say s dot value, which is going to be a string, convert that to a float, and not s, what am I doing here? X, right? Because x is what we have here. And then I'm going to check to see that the value, if value is less than -273, not good. If it is greater, that's fine. So what are we going to say here? We're going to say alert value must be above absolute zero. Was below absolute zero. There's no, I checked with the physics major in our class, and he said there's no, he doesn't know if there is an absolute maximum. I mean, you know, we know sun is like million degrees or billion, I don't know. Anyway, sun is very hot. So we don't know if there is an absolute maximum the way we have it for velocity, for example. Value was below absolute zero. We should clean it up. So x dot value, we clean it up to be nothing, and we should be done. Okay. So now with one validate function, now we are validating both of them, because here we have created one anonymous function that calls with validate s, and another in line 7 where we call it with the element e as passed. Now we really don't know if this is going to work, so we should try it. Right here, let me just refresh this, and then as usual, it should make sure that this is not creating other problems. So that seems to work. Let's see if 100 to 100 is a problem. Well, it should be a problem, but start must be less than end. So that is okay. So that validation still works. Now I'm going to type -275. That shouldn't have worked. Did I refresh this? Okay, let me try it one more time. Minus 275 should not have worked. If value is less than minus 273, we should be saying there's a problem. I don't know if I save this one. So we're going to go back and at least save this one. Okay. Var value parse float x dot value, that makes sense. Validate s, we have that. Validate e, we have that. S dot add event listener looks okay too. So let's give it a try. Okay. Let me save it and let me try it again. And minus 275, and that's not working. So I don't know why that's not working. So what I'm going to do is I had essentially put the exactly the same code before. I'm going to just copy that back here, and if that doesn't work, then I'm just going to leave this particular hangout as it is, and other let me just add validation. I don't know if let me just go back here. This was saved. Add validate, I said here, and here I had add validation, right? So let me just change that to add validate. And very fun if you don't make mistakes, I suppose. That's my explanation to every screw up. Minus 275, and now it's working. And it cleans that up. So here, let's see if it's going to work for this one as well. It says the value was below 0, and then if I draw a table, nothing happens. So it's all working. There was a minor mistake. We fixed it, and this would be the second half of your validation activity. I'm going to stop this video.